It's very nice to meet you, Cairenn.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Welcome to ISHI 33.
Thank you very much.
Is this your first ISHI?
This is my second ISHI.
Okay, were you here last year?
I was here last year, yes.
In
sunny Florida. Yes,
oh,
it was
lovely. It was lovely, but we all came back with that really odd, tan lines.
Not me.
Not you?
That doesn't happen to me.
It doesn't happen to you? No tan lines?
Because I have to wear a lot of sunscreen. I would just be burned. I would have a burn line.
Really? Okay. Well,
yes.
That's good to know.
But yeah, we did have. It's so much different from last year. We've got a lot more people here this year. Not as much wearing the masks. We've got our hand sanitizer though. We're still being safe, so that's
good. Yep, that's very good. And what are you bringing to ISHI 33 with you this year? Where are you from, and what did you bring with you?
What did I physically bring?
Well, yeah. What was in your suitcase, Cairenn?
Everything. I brought my car, so I could bring everything. I'm here with DNA Doe Project, and we actually have 21 of our staff and volunteers with us here.
Oh my gosh, big year.
It is big. Last year we had about 14, which was also huge.
Yeah.
But the previous year I think we only had 2 or 3. So we're next year we might be like the whole conference. Who knows?
That's spectacular. Yeah, bring everybody. I'm sure. The DNA Doe Project is such a fantastic project as it is. I feel like as many people who can should come from there, right?
Absolutely.
So what do you do there at the DNA Doe Project?
I'm the Director of Education and Development at DP.
Okay.
So I started out as a volunteer genetic genealogist, working on cases, and I still do work on cases, and I team lead cases. But I've been there since 2018, and my role has grown to encompass a lot of different things. So in my role in development, I help with fundraising, trying to find corporate sponsors, of many of which are potentially here,
Yeah.
And then also I run our education programs, which we've really bumped up in the past year or two.
Okay.
So it's really exciting.
The education, do you mean, are you doing like training, or are they just classes, or are they like certificates, or what is it? What is it?
So our first forays into education were really internal for our own volunteers.
Okay.
And then as the field is growing, I think we're living in a really exciting time right now with investigative genetic genealogy, and there are more education programs popping up. So last year, the reason why our group was so big is because we had a group from University of New Haven who were they were doing the forensic genetic genealogy certificate program there, and they had all done their practicum experience with DDP.
Okay.
So we had a lot of people from there. So, and we repeated that this year. We had a group from UNH who did their practicum experience and worked on a case with DDP again. So that's one of our educational programs is partnering with schools that have FIGG programs to allow them to apply their learning to a real case. Another opportunity that's going to be coming up in that sector is Ramapo College of New Jersey.
Okay.
My day job now is at Ramapo College of New Jersey. I'm going to be running an investigative genetic genealogy certificate program there, and we'll also be applying our work to some DDP cases, so it's helpful to have that relationship. And then our third education program is our apprenticeship experience. So
cool.
This is for people that are not necessarily in a formal program, people that are self-taught genetic genealogists, and they've worked on adoption cases or unknown parentage cases and have a lot of experience with genetic genealogy. And they want to try out applying those skills to investigative cases. So over the summer, we ran our first apprenticeship program. We had a robust application with an exam, and we brought on 8 apprentices, and we allowed them to use their skills to solve a real case. And sure enough, they did solve it.
The first set of apprentices?
Yes.
That is impressive.
It is.
How did they feel about that?
I think they feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
And it was Phoenix John Doe, and this was just announced, I think, last week that his case was solved. And they did a fabulous job. And then we had to keep them all as volunteers because we couldn't let them go after they did so good.
Yeah, right. They're doing it. So you said that's what you started as? Was a volunteer?
Yes, I went from just a volunteer investigative genetic genealogist, which, and that's really still the bread and butter of what I do. I still love solving cases and working on cases, but it's great to see, it's just so exciting to be a part of a growing field right now. I was just thinking about, this is ISHI 33. I was wondering, what was ISHI 1 like? What was it like when they were first having DNA applied to cases? Yeah. And now we're seeing the emergence of IgG as perhaps the main way to solve cases in the future. Yeah. And this issue, there's a lot of discussion about what it's going to look like, education programs, regulation of the field, and who is going to be responsible for regulating it. Is it going to be forensic science? Is it going to be self-regulated? And I was just thinking, like, what is it going to look like at ISHI 50? What regulations will be in place? How many educational programs will there be in the United States? And will it be primarily IGGs like me who don't come from law enforcement, or will all IGGs be within law enforcement? So I'm really excited to see what's next.
Yeah, that is super.
So keep this footage for ISHI 50.
I will. And I've asked this question a few times. So as you're building those trees, right? Because that's what's happening. You're building the tree and you're making the connections. That information shouldn't go away. It should be archived somewhere and held somewhere. So eventually, maybe by ISHI 50, it'll be done.
Like
maybe the whole tree will be done. Then you just go ding, ding, and then like 17 minutes later, you just find out that it was like Travis.
Yeah.
Travis stole that loaf of bread. Yeah.
I wonder
Who knows?
I hope we don't use it on people that steal loaves of bread.
I didn't want my crime to be that severe. Sitting here,
That's smart.
I thought maybe just stealing some bread would be fine.
There's a lot of people that could identify you.
Yeah. He actually stole my bread at lunch. Yeah, somebody did say that. Yeah. That's a really, really neat thing. So how did you then evolve that job? Like, what were you doing before? Did you have a job and then you were doing this on the side?
Yeah, so I have recently left my full-time, very secure position as a healthcare worker. I was a registered nurse, and then a quality nurse, and then a nurse educator. So I was already building education programs in my nursing career. And I had done quality control too. So a lot of these things are applicable in this world as well.
They are.
So, and I really thought that education was my future in IGG. I just enjoy teaching. I especially enjoy teaching IGG and applying the tools that we use and learning different ways that people teach IGG. So sure enough, all of that led to where I am today, and I get to lead multiple education programs, so it's really fun and exciting.
Awesome. And did you wear those DNA earrings when you were a nurse as well? Or is this just a new addition to the forensics? Really?
My friend that's here with me, also a volunteer at DP, she was wearing them, and I was like, I love your earrings. And then she pulled a second pair out of her purse. Can you believe?
Wow.
And then handed them to me. So of course I have to wear them the entire conference now.
Yes, that's spectacular. So I'm wondering, let's say I've just come into your class. I know nothing about any of this genealogy stuff. Can you give me a 2-minute-ish instruction on how do I even start this? What do I do? Where do I even go? Like, do I go to my computer? Do I have to start writing down, like, what was your mom's maiden name? What was your dad's name? Do I have to do that? What do I do?
You don't. I mean, so the thing that I've been asking people, and this will be my sort of like application question in the new program that I'm going to be directing, is tell me about a time that you went down a research rabbit hole. Because I think the most necessary skill in this is having a love of research and the ability to chase a rabbit hole. So I think that's a really important part of it. And so if I were having just 2 minutes to talk to somebody about IGG, I think I would probably first discuss with them ethics, because this is a huge concern. As we grow this field, I mean, we've all seen in the world of forensics and in the world of law enforcement, when ethics are violated in any way, it's a big deal to everybody, and it hurts the entire field.
It does.
So as we as IGG practitioners grow into the giant shoes of being leaders in IGG, we really need to be aware of the impact that we could have on human identification and on identification of suspects, on wrongful convictions. So stepping into it ethically and making sure that we're following the rules that we're supposed to follow, the guidelines that have been set by the current regulating agencies, are really important, because we don't want to, this depends so much on trust from the public to make sure that we're doing the right thing. That's what I would spend my 2 minutes talking to people about, is is make sure you do it ethically. How you
Okay.
do it, everybody has a different way of
They
solving
do?
these cases. Yes.
For real?
Yes.
So how about those interns? Like what was their method?
Oh,
And did they work together, or did they work
yes.
separate and then come back together?
That is a huge part of it. So working as a team, I think, is so important because then you
Okay.
get multiple points of view and a different skill mix. So
Okay.
I might not be good at doing library searches, for example. There was one of the
goodness
interns in our group.
gracious.
She was finding these resources from libraries that I would have never thought to look for. So the skills that different people can bring in, people
Yeah.
from different backgrounds, and having a team is so important.
Okay.
And so communicating as a team is a big part of it. And I think that's important for any IGG practitioner. But yeah, I mean, so different people have different methods for how they start. For me personally, I start with segment triangulation, which sounds really complicated, but it's just looking at the little
Perfect.
pieces of DNA to find out where common ancestors might be between two people.
Okay.
But other people will just start with the match list and looking at the highest match. So it's just everybody has a different method of doing it, and a lot of us solve cases. So there must be no wrong way to do it. I'd say the only wrong way is if you're doing something unethical.
Okay, back to the ethics of it.
Yes.
All right, what was the very first case that you were involved in that you helped solve?
Well, the first case, the case that brought me to DNA Doe Project was the case of Lyle Stevick. He was a young man that took his own life in a hotel room in Washington in 2001.
Okay.
And he went unidentified until 2018, which is when DNA Doe Project took on his case.
Okay.
And the way that I met the founders of DNA Doe Project and came on board is that I was following a true crime subreddit. I don't know if you know what that means, but they...
I'm not that old.
Well, I mean,
There's
not
a
everybody's on
and a
Reddit.
I don't know what a subreddit is, though.
It's,
I really
a
don't.
community on Reddit.
Okay.
I feel like it's embarrassing to tell people that you're on Reddit, but I
Why?
am. So,
You get
anyway.
a lot of good information off of there. Look where it's gotten you.
Exactly. It's gotten me
I mean,
so far
come
in life.
on, yeah.
So I saw that they were posting on Reddit that they were looking for people to join their team that had experience with genetic genealogy. So I answered the call, and that was one of the best decisions that I ever made because it completely changed my life.
Yeah, your career, your
Yes.
life,
Absolutely.
everything.
Everything.
Are you still living in the same town and doing all?
I
All
am.
that still
Thank
the
goodness we
same?
can do our work remotely. So
Yeah.
I'm in New York, and DNA Doe Project is so spread out. We're in every corner
Yeah.
of the world, really. We've
Yeah.
got volunteers in the UK, Australia, Canada, and all over the US. So
Yeah.
I'm very thankful that we have events like this to bring so many of us together so we can see each other in person and really
Yeah.
get that team spirit going again.
It's really neat. Really give the in-person high fives to the
Yes.
people who have helped you and you've
Absolutely.
helped them. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really neat. So this DNA Doe project is just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And then how are you going to bring all those people together? Like, I know that you're doing this training, and it's probably in person and online or whatever, right?
There's options for both, yes.
Options for both. So then to get out your requirements, how are you going to do that like in Wisconsin? Like if I lived in Madison, Wisconsin now, how do I get trained? If it's just getting so large, how do you then branch out?
Yeah, so I think we're going to see more and more education programs popping up, but thankfully there are a lot of opportunities remote now. So aside from the classes I mentioned, so University of New Haven has the online Forensic Genetic Genealogy Certificate Program. I'm going to be running Ramapo College of New Jersey Investigative Genetic Genealogy Certificate Program. It's a mouthful.
Yep.
And then Joan Hanlon from United Data Connect, she runs a class that's in person every month. It's a
Okay.
week-long course. We have the apprenticeship program at DNA Doe Project for
Yep.
experienced IGGs. And that's only the beginning. I can only
Yeah.
imagine how many people are thinking about opening up a program now
Yeah.
because there's such a need for more people to solve these cases.
Yeah. So at ISHI 50, when I ask you that, you'll be like,
Yes.
well, you can just go down to the street and go to the local
50
DNA.
programs,
Yeah.
yes. And another great thing about, I want to say the IGG community and the forensic community, but we have so many friends. You know, DNA Doe Project is friends with Parabon.
Yeah.
We're not
Yes.
competitors.
Yeah.
We both solve the same cases. We both solve John and Jane Doe cases, but they're our friends. We collaborate.
Yep.
Intermountain Forensics. There's so many important partnerships that happen, and experiences like ISHI give us the time and the place to come together and discuss what we can be doing and really to create lasting relationships that can change the world. So
Change the world. You're absolutely right. And I feel like in the forensics world, it's not like, maybe it's not quite a family, but it's definitely a very close-knit community.
Yes,
right?
everybody knows
With
everybody.
People
knows
sharing,
everybody.
and yeah, it's like a small town. Everybody's
Yes.
from a small town. Yeah, but that's a really good feeling because everyone is so able to help.
Yes.
On so many levels, and
Yes.
it's really
And you can
quite
get a
noble
lot
and
done
amazing.
here, you know? You're
Yeah.
not going back and forth in emails. You can just have the
Right.
conversation right now.
Yeah, it's super fun.
great.
Well, it has been a real pleasure to talk
Thank
to
you,
you.
you too.
And congratulations on your path in life and where it's leading you. And thanks for everything that you do.
Yes, thank you. Have a
All
good
right.
rest of your day.
Thanks, you too.